based on the dude who produced the director of Black Panther, and like they saying something about money or like he was hiding his money in like a higher place, trust, some type of bank, like rich people bank, and they were saying like he was trying to hide, bro. Where is? Oh yeah, he was trying to basically walk around as if he didn't have money on him, cause like, I can't really blame him, cause like, if I did a big movie like that, I wouldn't want people to know that I do have all this money and like, you know.
If you don't know how to make
you see me around with it, so I mean, you can't blame him.
My brother know the sip of false sales, never close, price stay stressed. Now I'm geek, so it's fucking hoe. I can't even count, can't stay stressed. Woo, 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 woo. Had to take a minute, was a close call.
Ryan Coogler saw it coming. Yeah. Let's see what he had coming.
Congratulations. I just feel like you are like living the dream.
He's become one of the hottest filmmakers in the business.
Oh, he made Creed too?
Living the dream.
He's become one of the hottest.
Why is it going so fast?
They love it.
I mean, he's just shown he can do an awful lot.
Vision.
Congratulations. I just feel like you are like living the dream.
He's become one of the.
Oh, Fruitvale Station. Creed. I've actually never watched Creed. Is that bad? I've never watched Creed. I actually sat down and watched the whole movie. Like, I've seen clips and stuff. I know about it, but like, or Rocky. I gotta catch up, bro. Gotta catch up. I'm gonna get on it, bro. I was watching like half of Baby Boy today, so like I'm gonna finish that, and then I started watching some more movies because I was like, man, when was the last time I actually sat down and watched a movie for real? So like, I think I'm gonna start taking the time to actually do that as I'm like editing or something. Just have it in the background.
Hottest filmmakers in the business.
They love it.
I mean, he's just shown he can do an awful lot.
A visionary at the very top of his craft.
Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler.
Ryan Coogler.
January 2022. Just another day in America.
Hey, do me a favor, man. Come this way.
Now to a troubling story involving one of America's most successful filmmakers.
Famed Hollywood director Ryan Coogler was put in handcuffs attempting to withdraw money from his own account.
The man who directed the movie Black Panther was arrested for robbing a bank. But he did not rob.
What? Rob a bank? Mistaken.
A bank.
Police say he was detained at the Bank of America on West Faces Ferry after passing an employee a note reading, "I would like to withdraw $12,000 cash from my checking account. Please do the money counter somewhere else. I'd like to be discreet."
When I ask him questions, he just point at the note, look at the note.
He might just want to be discreet, but I have police around.
Yeah, I mean, he might, but it's just being weird.
You don't get the benefit of the doubt. We detain and then we ask questions later.
This wasn't the beginning of the story. It was the reminder of why he started telling it.
I grew up in the Bay Area, bro. I played football my whole life, since I was like 6 or 7 years old or something like that. And it's like that.
Wait, so like, when you withdraw money, you can't like, I mean, the man just want his money being out, like, he didn't say nothing wrong. Just give my money, be quiet. But like, the man has an account. I don't know. That's, I guess it's suspicious, but like, I don't know.
My neighborhood, for me, where I'm from, you know, you play football or otherwise, you know. And coming up, I was kind of like this. You know, it's kind of like this creature of two worlds. You know, I went to private school, you know, but I lived in some more difficult neighborhoods in the Bay Area. Playing football and going to school. I like school. I like football maybe a little bit more. Got a scholarship to go to a school called St. Mary's College. I played quite a bit that season. Like I was returning kicks. You know, I was playing receiver. I played a little bit of DB that year. At school, because it was a liberal arts school, they made you take these creative writing classes. So I took this creative writing class, taught by this professor who's also a novelist named Rosemary Graham, and she assigned us an assignment, which was tell me about your most emotional experience you've ever had in your life. And I turned it in, and I was in my dorm room hanging out with a bunch of my football teammates and people from my neighborhood. And I got a call from her. She's like, I need you to come down to my office immediately. It's about your assignment. And then I walked down to her office, and she says, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she called me into her office hours and had like a one-on-one with me and was like, hey, you should think about writing screenplays. And I went back to my dorm room, and my dorm room.
See, that's a good teacher. That's how you know, like, she pays attention to her students. So, like, it low-key jump-started a talent and a career that the man ain't even know he had. We need more teachers like those, bro. We don't got those no more. That's crazy. Yo, you down to react to tunes? I mean, you could put it. I'm gonna put my. Hold on, let me finish this vid, and I'm gonna put my Discord in the chat. You know, you can just send your music there. Yeah.
Thinking about how much I like movies. I always liked movies. And then I started looking around my dorm room, and all I had was like rap posters. And I had no movies. I had $20. I hopped in my car, drove to Circuit City, and I walked around the DVD section, and I found like this Pulp Fiction. And I said, I like Pulp Fiction, you know, and I picked it up, and it was a special edition, and it had a CD-ROM with the screenplay built into it.
Now the moment you've all been waiting for.
Went back to the dorm, popped the CD-ROM in, and saw my first screenplay. I don't know, it reminded me of the first time I stepped on the football field and hit somebody. You know what I mean? I feel like I was at home. You know what I mean? So I looked at it, and I opened up Microsoft Word, and I thought the formatting was kind of weird. So I started trying to like ape the formatting in Microsoft Word, and I started to write. You know, started to write my first screenplay. You know, that night. You know, my girlfriend at the time, she's now my wife. She bought me a little software that I could write screenplays with. I fell in love with it.
That's taken by Kugler. And he is hammered right over.
And after my freshman season, they dropped their football program. So I got another scholarship to Sacramento State. By the time I transitioned to Sacramento State, I was doing it on the side, taking classes and shooting short films with my homies. I was doing real well going into my senior year. I knew that I wanted to apply to USC Film School, graduate school, but I was doing really, really well on the field. You know, my prospects started to look bright, like maybe I could continue to play professionally, maybe in the States, maybe in Canada. And I was slacking on getting that application in. And I got an injury doing 7-on-7. And during that time, I realized like I need to put this application in for film school. Man, football is fleeting. You know what I'm saying?
I quit.
Around that time, The Departed was out, and Marty was all over the television. You know, and I remember looking at him and kind of seeing Marty Scorsese for the first time, but nobody was talking about him like retiring anytime soon or anything like that. And I knew football teammates that went to the NFL and had already retired when they were in their late 20s. And I thought, man, this is pretty cool. This dude is just kind of working. He's gonna work forever.
I'll see you in the morning. Thank you.
So I applied to USC Film School, and I got accepted. I found out I got accepted like in the middle of the season. And right around that time, man, I started to find my mind wondering when I'll be on the field.
Thinking about something else.
I'm thinking about a movie I want to make. I'm thinking about being on set. Yep. And you know that shit is dangerous when you're doing that. You gotta be football. You gotta be all in. And that was kind of when I knew. You know what I mean?
So Ryan turned his focus to film, and it started to pay off.
Young African-American males around my age started to grow out their hair and wear them in dreadlocks.
So Locks is one of my first short films. It's a short film that I did at USC when I was in graduate school. But it's about a young man from Oakland who takes a walk through his neighborhood to a barbershop and cuts his dreads off. And at the time when I made it, everybody in my neighborhood had dreads. So it was a thing that had a stigma attached to it. But it was also something that if I went somewhere at that time, people would know I was from the Bay Area.
I think a hero is somebody who puts the well-being of others on the same level as themselves, or even more valuing and more so than themselves.
Yeah, the first time I met Forrest, I was still in film school, and somebody asked me if I liked Forrest Whitaker. A teacher did. Hey, do you like Forrest Whitaker? And I was like, of course I like Forrest Whitaker. You know, and then they were like, well, it's a woman that's running his production company, and she reached out looking for filmmakers to meet. And I met with this woman named Nina Yang, and then she was like, think about like maybe 3 movies that you would want to make, and come in, and I'm gonna bring you in, and you can pitch all 3 of them in front of Forrest. You know, I pitched Forrest Whitaker 3 projects. Fruitvale was one of them. That was the one I believed in the most. And then I'm just kind of telling him about
telling him about all these ideas, and I'm like super nervous. And then I get to Fruitvale, and I'm like, this is the one that I would make, you know, regardless. You know, this is what I want to make. You know, whether you say you want to make something with me or not, this is the one I'm gonna go off and make. And, you know, and he was like, I don't know why you told me about that other stuff. You know, this the one. Yeah, this the one I want to. It's the one I want to make with you.
You know, I feel fortunate. I feel blessed that I had the opportunity to be able to produce the first movie that Ryan Coogler is putting out.
Ryan Coogler wrote and directed Fruitvale Station. It is his first feature-length film. He joins us now from San Francisco.
Why was the Oscar Grant story so important to you?
It was New Year's Day, and I was working a security gig in Frisco. I remember one of my homies left the shift early. He caught BART home, and he was like, "Yo, the BART train is jammed up." You know, they say they shot somebody.
Grant is the unarmed African-American man who was shot dead on an Oakland train platform on New Year's Day.
The next morning, it was
It's a crazy story, bro. Cause like, I don't know. Being black sometimes is like, it's crazy. Sometimes you used to walk outside like in fear, just cause you black. But, like, if you live in black areas necessarily, or even that too. I don't know. It go hand in hand sometimes. So, like, you never really can tell.
like, no, the police shot somebody, and then they dropped the tape.
In January 2009, several bystanders videotaped 22-year-old Oscar Grant.
I think I was like in elementary when I watched this. And it did kind of scare me a little, like, scare the police, because it was like, man. It's like, man. Like, what if that was me? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Being shot in the back.
That was the first black man to get murdered on camera like that. The seed got planted for me to want to make a film about it.
Next stop, Fruitvale Station.
And I was looking for an actor who looked like Oscar, who was around the same age as Oscar, who could be believable. And I was also looking for an actor who I thought could get the job done in about 20 days. That's about what we had to shoot.
Mama, you know I don't gotta worry about that.
I told Nina Yang Bon Jovi, who was our producer, who my first choice was for the role. And it was Michael B. Jordan. Around that time, Red Tails had been in theaters, Chronicle had been out. We knew his work from The Wire and Friday Night Lights and Parenthood. And we met at a Starbucks, and he seemed surprised to see me. He was like, "Oh, you the director?" I'm like, "Yeah." And we talked about our families, about our hopes, our dreams. I remember thinking, man, I hope this dude wants to do this movie because I feel like he's going places, man.
But he was one of the first people that really let me know, you know, like, "Hey, Mike, yo, I think you're a movie star." At a time where I was doubting myself, you know what I'm saying?
The funding for Fruitvale fell through, I think, like, a week before production or something like that. And it was Octavia changing her rate that eventually got that produced.
It did more than change her rate, man. She put her own money in. She found other producers. She did so much, man. And then Forrest, you know, took a chance on me. You know, it's part of why I love actors so much. You know what I mean? Like that. That's kind of who gave me my break. I was at Sundance, and it was cold. A lot of people, and it was a weird feeling because it's like, oh yeah, people are like fighting to get into this movie that they haven't seen yet. You know, and I was like, yo, what if it's bad? And like Oscar's family was there, and they were seeing it for the first time. So I was like terrified that they wouldn't like it. I was too busy watching Oscar's family.
Oscar.
Well, I was sitting right behind them. But they said it felt like he was like he was alive again for a little bit.
A little movie called Fruitvale took the Sundance Film Festival by storm, winning both the Grand Jury Prize and the Audience Award for a U.S. dramatic film.
And this goes back to my home, to the Bay Area.
With its young star, Michael B. Jordan from Chronicle, and being the first film from USC grad writer-director Ryan Coogler, it was a much-needed success story for a festival which has been short on credibility and relevance lately.
But the simple fact that we made it into the film festival was such an achievement in itself. You know, that I feel very fortunate.
Feel me? We just trying to get home.
Well, for me, it was really important to tell the story from the perspective of the people that knew him the best. After the situation happened, Oscar lost his life. the event itself became very politicized. You know, people kind of picked sides, people that didn't know who he was. For me, it was something that I wanted to get to the heart of who he was, to the people that knew him the best before the situation.
I'm Ryan Coogler, writer-director of Fruitville.
Fruitville came with a lot of opportunity, like afterwards. But one of the folks that I met, I think his name was Adam, man, what's Adam's last name? He ran Paramount at the time. He said to me, I love Fruitville. But he said, man, do me a favor and don't make the same movie all over again. He was like, you gotta make something bigger for your second movie.
My dad was a Rocky fan, well, is a big Rocky fan. So because he was that, I grew up, you know, as one as well, and I knew these movies. When I was finishing up film school, my dad got really sick. And
it's a waste of life.
You know, the effect that seeing him, you know, go through that situation had on me was really profound and intense. And through that, I came up with the idea of this movie.
Very American.
No, Juergens. It's very smart.
I knew that I wanted to follow Apollo Creed's family. That was my favorite character from the franchise. And I really liked how intellectual he was shown to be, and how in control of his own destiny that character was shown to be. So I knew it would be interesting to explore like what happens to his family when somebody like that died. So coming up with the idea of a man from the lineage of Apollo Creed, you know, I thought was really interesting. Adonis kind of knows, he thinks he knows what he needs. He needs somebody to show him how to fight. That's not really what he needs. He needs a father figure.
Creed was about a year and a half. You know, like in a half of that year was just trying to convince Stallone that it was worth doing. You know what I mean? And
he had to convince Sylvester Stallone to let him make a movie where Rocky was the secondary character.
I was getting a lot of pressure, especially with my agent, which is what an agent should do, is just say, hey, fool, I know you can't see the forest through the trees, but this is interesting. What did you say your name was?
Done. We talked about Creed before we shot a frame at Fruitville Station.
My gloves,
We were going to set and he said, I got this idea about, you know, Apollo Creed's son, do you want to play him? And I was like, cool.
And I remember sitting down with Sylvester Stallone, and he asked, hey man, is this guy gonna have the work that does he have it in him to do the work that this is gonna take? It's gonna beat his body up. It's gonna be days of acting, we're gonna have to figure out how to get it done. And I said, man, I saw him on Fruitville, so I think he's got it.
You got Sylvester Stallone nominated for a second Oscar?
He won a Golden Globe and didn't thank Ryan.
Kevin Sujihara, the incredible Stu Kroll, Dan Feldman, and of course, Toby Emmerich. Thank you very, very much.
First film.
Damn. Brody put you on game and you ain't respect though. No. I don't like that. No props? That's crazy.
I remember seeing was Boys in the Hood. It came out in '91, and I was born in 1986, so I was way too young to see it. When my dad took me, like 2 movies I saw actually with my dad, you know, that really shaped me as a young black man. And I saw Boys in the Hood in the theater with my dad, and I saw Malcolm X in the theater with my dad. I think that Malcolm X is the most important American film ever made. When I was coming up, as a young man, there were 2 filmmakers that were making movies at the same time that were in conversation with each other. That was Spike Lee and that was John Singleton, rest in peace. Both of those filmmakers mean the world to me as an American filmmaker, as an African American filmmaker. It just you know, the movies taught me things. When I would tell people that I wanted to be a filmmaker, they would bring those guys up. You know, I got to meet a couple of my heroes. John Singleton being one. He was an alum of USC, and he told me that it was my duty to continue to mine our collective experience and tell the stories through cinema. He said it was my duty. He said he was proud of it. Jordan had just made.
It's like a pass the torch. It had to feel good. Cause now I kind of see it. Like I said, I was watching Baby Boy today. Like, I see it. It's like I did all this. Now you take it from here. Like, that's tough, yo. Ryan Coogler, one of them ones. He one of the ones.
Get out. Ava was on campus. She was making Wrinkle, and Dot was doing his thing. It was a time where it kind of felt like anything was possible.
You have my word, I shall not attack any of you again. And T'Challa, hereditary chieftain of the Wakandas.
When Nate Moore, our executive producer, first reached out, I was finishing up my last film called Creed. I was really kind of circling these ideas of African identity and representation and personal responsibility. All those things were things that I was thinking about, and I was kind of thinking about a project that would speak to those themes. I'd be able to explore those ideas. So when I spoke with Nate about the project, I thought it would be an interesting opportunity.
Director of Black Panther, Ryan Coogler.
By the time Marvel Studios had reached out to me, like Chad had already been cast, and I didn't know Chad, So in the
Damn. I remember the day he died, bro. For a minute, I was thinking he was actually T'Challa, like, bro. Cause it felt so real when you was watching the movie, like, man, rest in peace, man.
And Civil War hadn't come out yet when I first sat down to meet with him.
Our first time together, we were completely alone, and he somehow snuck into a hotel room I was in during a massive press tour for Creed. It was crawling with press, but he got by all of them, and I was so impressed by that. I asked him how he got past everybody, and he smiled at me and said, "That was the Panther."
And our first powwow was just to make sure that, are you the guy I want to go down this alley with? And he was like, are you the guy I want to go down this alley with? And it was like, yeah, let's do it.
And he's here right now.
And I love watching, like pop culture movies. I love watching movies with black leads. And we had 3 big ones in the 90s, you know what I'm saying? You think about it, you had Denzel, you had Will Smith, you had Wesley. And I used to think, like, man, wouldn't it be amazing if, we had a movie where like Denzel went head to head with Will Smith, or, Denzel and Wesley Snipes went head, we never got that movie for whatever reason. But for me, it was like, oh wow, we can maybe give people who coming up in this era, we can get them that movie.
An adversary at Black Panther have to face, named Eric Killmonger, played by Michael B. Jordan.
This is a young African-American man directing a superhero movie with an African-American lead.
They've been writing about this character for over 50 years. Different writers have been adding to him, and Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, 2 Jewish cats from New York, came up with this character in the 60s. They tapped into a lot of things that was happening in the African-American community.
I have a Black Panther
I was born in Oakland, man. So the first Black Panthers I heard about was the ones that put streetlights up and fed the children where I'm from, you feel me?
We're born with our hair like this. Why was it so important to put women in such powerful roles?
The first movie I ever saw was Boys in the Hood. And I was 5 years old. The film deeply traumatized me. But I remember being blown away by Angela's performance. It made the film feel real.
And it is your time to be king.
The women take center stage, the women of Wakanda. You can't have a king without a queen, you know what I'm saying?
I started off, this film with this idea and this question, what does it mean to be African? Because, I wasn't quite sure. What I found is, to be African is to be human.
The Black Panther, the first ever big budget comic book story.
That's crazy. He brought. Ryan Coogler also a real one too, because even after, Forrest still with him, Michael B. Jordan still with him. He went back and found people that he knew would resonate with the movie. Yo, hey man, he's a genius. Yeah, he's made a ton of bread, man. I'm telling you, you gotta tap into your creativity, bro. You got to, cause that could be your money source, like. Cause now I'm seeing it, it's like, man, the work and all the behind the scenes that made it to be what we see now. It's like that's art for real. That's art.
With a black superhero.
Without question, the biggest movie of 2018 was Black Panther.
It's completely sold out.
It was sold out everywhere.
This film reminds us what's great about ourselves.
It became one of the top grossing movies of all time, earning more than $1.3 billion worldwide.
It was the hardest thing I'd ever done professionally, making the first Panther. It felt like I had bitten off more than I could chew. imposter syndrome, some people call it. I'm not ready yet. It's too big, it's too much.
And the actor goes to Black Panther.
That guy directed Ryan Coogler. He's a genius. To be young, gifted, and black.
And the Oscar goes to Black Panther, Hannah Beachler, Ludwig Göransson.
Just how much did that turn up the pressure for the sequel?
Pressure is kind of always going to be there, you know. I've had a chance to make 3 feature films. Each one of them had its own very specific type of pressure. And when you in the process of it, it feels insurmountable.
We begin tonight with the sudden and very tragic death sending shockwaves across the country. Actor Chadwick Boseman died at the age of 43.
A cinematic king has fallen.
The actor who was just 43 years old died of colon cancer.
He was tired, bro. I could tell he was tired. Some days I would find him just like incredibly sad. But looking back, I'm like, oh man, my man's was dying. And it's also a thing where it's like, oh yeah, I can't quit. You know, this dude.
It's the fact he ain't tell nobody too. It's like, he's doing his best to be strong. Like, man.
Man, just why he was dying. I had written a full script before.
Cause you couldn't even tell.
Like, I'm like, oh man, my man's was dying.
Like,
And it's also a thing where it's like, oh yeah, I can't quit.
Man's look healthy, smiling, like, yo. Man, I don't know. That's one celebrity that like, I'll never like. When you think about it, it's like, damn. Rest in peace, bro, for real.
No, this dude made this why he was dying. I had written a full script before he passed away that was starring him and was very much about his character. And I had never been in that position to write a script and not be able to go make it. So I was grieving him as a friend, grieving my lead actor and creative partner, but also grieving all of these ideas.
Customer passed me a note, and so I just told my manager I didn't feel comfortable. So he told me to call police while he, I guess, stalled. What's on the note, ma'am? It just says I want to withdraw $12,000. Just be discreet.
From my checking account. How she skipped that part?
Yes, it was a note. Everybody keeps saying it was a note, but he actually wrote it on the back of a withdrawal slip.
The teller, she started to freak out. So she didn't even match the accounts with his ID that she gave. Hey, sir. Come here, favor, man. Come this way. Put your hand behind your back.
I looked at the note, and then I said, okay, do you have your debit card? He inserted his debit card.
She's black, too. Like, bro.
So then after he inserted the debit card, I said, okay, I forgot what I said, honestly.
I just had guns drawn for taking money out my...
See? Shawty can't even tell what she said. It's the accusation, like, you throw the rock, hide your hand, bro. That's one thing I don't like people do, bro. That's...
Ryan is not a threat, shows no weapon. Why is the cop unholstering his weapon?
Whatever your perception of this man was could have led to him being killed.
Yeah, y'all the ones with guns and vests. You know what I'm saying? What's my perspective? What's my perspective?
You don't get the benefit of the doubt. We detain and then we ask questions later.
You will only ask for your cash to be discreetly given to you within warning. And I do apologize sincerely for myself being who you are. You're a young black man, for two, for Bank of America.
I got a badge on, hanging off my knee, my work bag. It'll tell you everything about me. And if you just run my name, you'll understand why you should take me off these cuffs.
I feel like a deep sense of gratitude and good fortune to return to the set of Black Panther Wakanda Forever and return to the family that made the first film. It was a really rewarding experience, I would say.
bittersweet in many ways.
And as for the identity of the attack,
My feature film career, I made a lot of stories that dealt with fatherhood, and so this was the first time for me to explore that foundational relationship, that relationship between a mother and their child.
I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone.
Amazing to see a life and a career that's been so well lived, so well done, and it's showing no signs of slowing down, you know?
Yeah, last night, Angela Bassett became the first actor in a Marvel film to win a Golden Globe.
Ryan Coogler.
I wouldn't mind being his muse. But I think Michael B's got that.
Yeah, I think Michael B. Jordan's got that one.
My relationship with my Uncle James, you know, and he was a World War II vet, and he worked in a steel mill and all type of. And when he got off work, he liked to either watch or listen to on the radio the San Francisco Giants. He would spin blues records on vinyl, and he would drink Old Taylor whiskey. And if the whiskey was cold enough and the song was good enough, I might get a story about Mississippi. He came to California on the run because he had got into it with his white boss or something. You know what I'm saying? And had to flee in the middle of the night. And that was kind of like my introduction to blues music. I was in LA working on Creed. Basically, all of 2015 is when my uncle's health took a turn for the worse, when he got diagnosed with terminal cancer. And I'm in LA finishing up the movie. When I get to the call that he died, I felt guilty. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, what is this job? You know, I'm fucking around with a editing software and a computer, bro. My uncle is dying. I'm not even able to be there with him. You know what I'm saying? And I would find myself playing old blues records when I thought about my uncle. Coming up in the 90s, you know, we was products of gangster rap. 2021, and I'm in the South working on Panther 2. I'm seeing cotton farms for the first time in my life, because I'm in Byron, Georgia. And I'm thinking about this thing that happens to us as gangster rap fans that we've sadly become accustomed to, of an artist being monumental and influencing our lives and rapping about navigating the same thing we navigated and they succumb to it. And then you got Pac, Mac Dre, you got Johnny Cash, you know, you got the Jacker, you got countless young dudes. It's just constant, like this flood of bodies. It put me in a mode of studying the musician and the type of music that was coming out that my uncle listened to. You know, I interrogated it, and that was really where the idea came from.
I was told that some of you dudes don't know anything about blues.
You know, I made 2 comic book movies and a boxing movie, and you know, I wanted to make something original. You know, I was really from my soul.
You keep dancing with the devil. One day it's gonna follow you home.
You boys twins?
Nah, we cousins.
Because the relationship you
Still ain't seen that movie. I'll watch it though.
and Mike have, I think, does not get enough credit.
I liken it to a quarterback and a wideout. It gets to the point where, you know, we got a shorthand and we hold each other accountable. We also push each other. Like, we're not trying to do the same thing we did before.
Together, forever.
Your wife actually has a credit as an executive producer. And for me, I think that's so dope.
This movie's been a love letter to the process of filmmaking for us.
This is the best film of the year so far.
We need this film.
For a mid-budget horror film, this is unexplored territory.
And it's the first time that, a film from a black filmmaker is gonna be projected on IMAX 15 perf 65mm film.
This is insane.
The New York Times reports Warner Brothers agreed to spend $90 million to make Sinners and agreed to give you a cut of gross ticket sales. Warner also agreed, and this is absolutely key, to relinquish its ownership of the film to you after 25 years. The Times reports, quote, some rival film companies were horrified that Warner Brothers would give a film away.
I'm not the first filmmaker to get any of these deals. I think that a lot has been made of my deal in particular. I'm not totally sure why. You know, like I have my guesses.
What's your guesses?
It's not a con. I'd rather not say. People make great movies all the time that for whatever reason, don't connect at the box office. You know what I mean? I've been fortunate enough that I had a few that I had, so just was able to leverage those wins.
All right, and the Golden Globe goes to Sinners.
The Director Award recognizes a visionary at the very top of his craft.
Ryan Cashew, he's not just filling a role, he's making a bet on who you can become.
Throughout his career, Ryan has shown Black people on screen in ways that oftentimes we have not seen before.
Filmmaker Ryan Coogler, who is now a Hollywood superstar.
And it's a big morning for Hollywood because the Oscar nominations are out. Box office hit Sinners is now a record breaker with 16 nominations,
Making it the most nominated film of all time.
It is up for Best Picture.
What? Yo, ho, ho. All time?
Best Actor for Michael B. Jordan. Best Supporting Actress for Umni Mosaku. Supporting Actor for Delroy Lindo.
For achievement in directing and for original screenplay, the nominees are Ryan Coogler, Sinners.
Just another day in America.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Ryan Coogler, him. Ryan Coogler, him, kid. All the movies I ain't know. I should have known he made Creed, cause I feel like Michael B. Jordan was okay. Now it makes sense. And you can tell they really bros for real, cause like they done make some classics for the years to come. Years to come, bro. That was a good video. That was a good video. Man. Well, now you're here for what you came for. And you know, we tell story times. We gotta